Hello, everyone, and it's me again. If you didn't see my previous foiled attempt, we're trying again with Money Monday. So we love to start the week with what we call Money Monday, so that we can start the week focusing on the numbers, making sure that we remember why we're in business and that we can be the best businesswomen that we can be by having a good grip on our money. And so this morning with me, we have an amazing woman, Fanny Snaith, who really knows her stuff. She's a freedom financial fighter, a money coach, and we are really excited about hearing what she has for us today. So Fanny's website, I just read it, sums it up perfectly. She says, I'm a certified money coach that helps professionals and business owners who are fed up with being rubbish with money to become confident money managers. Now, can't we all relate to that? And she also says to feel in control of your finances so that you can finally watch your bank balance grow and see a positive financial future. So this is something that we all want and we all need. And so it's essential that we learn how to become good with our money. You're not born with it, and it is a fight, isn't it, Fanny? That's why we have to call it financial freedom fighting, because we really have to work at it. We have to fight for our financial freedom. So, hi, Fanny.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Lovely to see you this morning.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So let's start with the most important question, I suppose. Money's so hard, and it seems that debt has become so normal. And this is so true. Debt really is something that people have, we just treat it as normal. So why should we care? Tell us about that. Why should we care?
Okay, so first of all, what I'd like to say is money isn't hard. It's we believe that it's hard. Am I coming quite loudly? I've got a bit of feedback on the line. Does it sound a bit funny? Is it okay? Does it sound all right?
It's fine this end, yeah.
So money actually isn't hard. I think what it is we have been led to perceive that money is hard. We are told that money is hard from when we are children. You know, I have plenty of clients who say to me, money is really hard to get hold of, and even harder to stay hold of. You know, it's the hardest thing to get and the easiest thing to lose. And when we're told those kind of things, that's what we grow up believing. But we don't need to we don't need to believe this stuff. Because actually, let's look at a little bit of let's look at some figures. At the moment, we have got 1% of the population owning 50% of the wealth on the planet. We have got 50% of the population earning less than $2 a day. But actually, if we were to look at, and I can't remember the source of this, so you'll have to forgive me, but apparently there is enough money for every single person on the planet to have $1 million. So there is plenty of money in this world. And all these feelings of, well, you know, I shouldn't be rich because, you know, there are other people that need it more than I do, or money doesn't grow on trees. And so therefore there's these feelings of lack. I just have to share something with you. It's all absolute cobblers, total cobblers. And we just don't need to live with these beliefs anymore. So that's the first thing. The second thing is why should we care? Well, why should we care? We say that debt has become normal. I've heard people say that they're drinking nearly a bottle of wine every day, and that's become normal. Drinking a lot of alcohol is normal. Eating a lot of sugar is normal. Well, normal. What does normal mean? Does normal mean that it's okay? I don't think it does. I spent many years feeling guilty about looking after my money, when people were saying, oh, for goodness sake, Fanny, spend it on this, spend it on that, spend it on the other. And I can actually say now that I'm really pleased that I stuck to my guns, because the people who were saying that to me are not in such a fortunate financial position that I'm in. Now, that's not a case of boasting. I mean, I just like to say that over the last 20 years, I have not earned more than £20,000 a year. and yet I am very nearly financially free.
Wow.
So I'm not there yet, but I'm on the way. And for those of you who are not quite sure what financially free means, I'm using the term the same as financially free as financially independent, which means that I will no longer actually have to go to work in order to pay my bills and pay my expenses. That's twofold. One, my bills and expenses are pretty small because I don't choose to lead an extravagant lifetime, but also I have used my small salary. And by the way, my husband has only earned £20,000 a year for the last 20 years as well. And any inherited income that I have had from when my parents died, I have treated that as separately. So it's about looking after the little golden eggs that you receive and trying to get them to grow into something that can you can have to look after you for your future. And the reason that we should care is, I'll give you some more facts and figures. Apparently millennials at the moment are spending 130% of their weekly income.
Wow.
Okay. And if you look at personal debt interest, which does not include mortgages, we are paying, you need to hold on to your seat for this, we are paying collectively in this country £139 million a day.
Oh my goodness.
Now, can you imagine what the economy would be like if even half of that money was going back into the economy? That would be money to spend on my business, your business, all of your listeners' businesses. The flow of money would be so much easier. But what we seem to have accepted as normal is to be in the red. But we honestly don't need to be in the red. I understand that there are people that get into tricky situations and have really fallen on hard times. But in the main, if we are to look after our money and give them our money the attention it deserves, we can all be wealthy, and we can all have a solid, firm financial future to look after us in our old age and to look after our children. And we should care, because at the moment it's not looking very pretty. And it's all okay just to say that it's normal. But I have a funny feeling that when we go, oh, well, everyone does that, it's normal, there's a feeling of discomfort behind that. And so therefore, that's why we should care, because if we're not feeling comfortable with something, it's always a good idea to change it. And the frustrating thing for me as a money coach is that it's really easy to change. It's really easy to change.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing. The possibilities are amazing.
Yeah.
So where do we start?
Well, the way you start is by what I call money mapping, which the horrible word that I refuse to use, that B word. You know, the B word, that's B something DG. I don't like that word, but I use a money map. So it's working out in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you are today. So the first step is to actually become totally clear on what your financial situation is today. Now, for some people, that will not be pretty, and that's okay. But at least if you know where you are, then you can start making the steps to change. I have actually I think it's a brilliant spreadsheet, and my clients like it, and I'm happy to offer it to your members for free today if they PM me. But it's called a money map, and it's a all-in-one spreadsheet where you can completely organize your finances going forward. And it's really just the one spreadsheet that you'll ever need to to go forward looking after your money and to build your wealth. And I'm happy to share it.
Yeah, so we'll definitely share your details in the post below. Make sure that people can contact you for that. That sounds really exciting. So we start mapping.
Yes.
So why do our money stories matter? So why are they so important?
Okay, so if we're talking about the whole situation of money, if you look out on the World Wide Web and anywhere else, there are so many tools to help people with practical finance, but the simple fact is we're not doing it. So we have to ask ourselves, why are we not doing it? And the reason that we're not doing it is because the practical finance side is 15% of what you need to know about money. The remaining 85% is up here. And our thoughts, beliefs, which turn into patterns around money, are so important and really affect us in adulthood. Let me explain. When we're children, our little brains are like sponges. They're like mini recording devices. And everything that little kiddie is seeing in his high chair is going in and looking at mummy and daddy and looking at the carers and looking at brothers and sisters and grandparents and then teachers at schools. And all of those observations, experiences, things that they hear is all being filed in the brain. The problem with that is it's not necessarily being filed in the right order. So let's say, for instance, you were to see your mum and dad fighting about money, which I know that lots of people see, including myself. What tends to happen is you'll see this experience, or you'll have this experience, and you'll go, "Oh, money! Oh, I don't like that. That's actually making me feel really frightened." So you put a little reference point in your brain that money is connected to fear, or fear is connected to money, whichever way you look at it. You might see your parents struggling to pay a bill, and it might make you feel cross or angry, that it's unfair. Why can't I do something to help? So again, you'll have a reference going into your brain that money's connected to anger. Let's think of another example. We all reward our children. Our parents rewarded us as children. And I had one lady who I was coaching, and her mum and dad, if she got full marks in a test or doing something, she would get a reward, £10, £5, £1, whatever it was. If she got less than the top marks, she got nothing. And for her, what that then brought in was feelings of, oh, well, only the best mark is good enough, and a feeling of not being enough. And this is the problem, that we have all these subconscious feelings around money. Money creates fear, anger, anxiety, a feeling of lack of self-worth. And these feelings that we develop as children, which sit in our brains, go forth and actually go to create our financial blueprint. I mean, obviously, we have a life blueprint of how we are, what happens to us in children, which says how we believe about things and what we feel about things as we go into adulthood. But our financial blueprint tends to bleed into so many other things. And our financial blueprint will shape our money story. Because if you think about it, every single transaction that you have made, everything you bought or everything you've sold, all got a little story attached to it, hasn't it? Even if it's, I'm buying a bar of chocolate. I shouldn't eat chocolate because I might put on weight. Yeah, everything is all linked to others. Oh, those shoes are wonderful. I'm going to buy those. Oh, they're a bit above, what I can afford. And you buy them and you bring them home and you look at them and you go, oh, I couldn't really afford those. Or you might go and buy something or have a holiday that's a wonderful experience. But every single transaction's got an experience attached to it. But our money stories, which is based on our financial blueprint, is absolutely going to go all the way through our lives. So you might have one of the most successful businessmen out there, but they can still have a block about money that's going to hold them back in one particular area of our lives. So it's really important to actually understand and become conscious and aware of where we have come from and how our financial blueprint is made up. Does that make any kind of sense? So it's a bit of a Monday morning ramble.
Amazing. But I was thinking, what if we don't realize we have these blocks, or we don't even realize that we have these limiting beliefs? We just completely oblivious to it. How do we discover what we actually have in our minds?
Okay, so the thing is, if you feel uncomfortable about money in any way at all, or if there are telltale signs. So let's say, for instance, buying a gift for somebody. when you think, let's think there's for different options. You might go, well, I'm only going to spend £1 because that's all I've got. Or you might go, oh, well, I'm expected to spend a lot of money, but I don't really feel comfortable doing so. Or you might do something and then regret buying it afterwards because the person didn't receive the gift in the way that you had expected. Those are kind of telltale signs that you might have a few blocks. There may be a classic one for people from the Women in Business group is that, are you charging enough? Yeah. Yeah, exactly, which I know you've spoken about on many, many occasions. Are you actually charging your worth? If you're not, ask yourself why you're not. Is it because you're not getting enough clients, so you think that you have to go for a cheaper price? In which case, why? And it's all linked. Another situation is you might be at a restaurant and it comes to paying the bill. That's always one, isn't it? And you're sitting there, they're going, okay, the bill's coming. Right, okay, well, she's drunk about 2 bottles of wine. I've only had water and I didn't have a pudding. It's just all those feelings. Yeah. And it's actually just, rather than just sweeping all those feelings under the table because they're normal, because we all have them, it's actually, let's just bring them out. Let's bring them out and go, how do I actually feel about that? Be more conscious about our feelings. Try to understand our feelings. And if you're suddenly going, oh, do you know what? I actually got a problem with this. Then, like anything else, we start to investigate it. So, obviously, I'm a money coach and I would love people to come and coach with me. But there are lots and lots of books out there, covering the subject. Money, A Love Story was one by Kate Northrop, was one of the first ones I started with. But if I was to give your members some advice, what I would do is I would get yourself a Word document and put a table into it so you can split it into the years of your life, so you can jot things down chronologically. Start writing down your money experiences. Try and think about your earliest money experience, first of all, and put it in there. It doesn't matter what it is. You'd be amazed. I have people who their first money experience might not even be linked to money. So one lady she was in America. She said that she bought her father a shirt. She saved up and she bought her dad a shirt and he didn't like it. And he opened it and he just went, yeah, lovely, darling. And that was a really big experience for her. I had another gentleman whose first money experience was a friend of his throwing his bicycle into the sea and feeling helpless that he couldn't do anything about it. So all of our money stories are going to be completely different. One of my first money experiences is I remember going to a grocer's with my mum and they had these really nice models of pigs. There was a butcher and a grocer's, and I knocked one and it fell on the floor. And Mum turned round to me and she just went, you stupid girl, you've broken it. I'm going to have to replace that now. And it's like, oh my God, and it's, these things stick. Yes, and they do. And as you continue to fill in your money bio, as I call it, you may just start seeing some patterns. You might see something happen over and over again, because the thing is, if you take my money story of being told that I'd been stupid and that I'd wasted money, that would have been a link in my head. And then if I went and did a deal again, or I went and bought a toy that broke or something, I go, oh, I've done it again, oh, well, that was a waste of money. And these things just come up and go over again and again and again. So it's looking for the patterns. Obviously, that's what I'm trained to do. And it's really a lovely experience to be able to sit there and talk about your money story and have somebody sitting there trying to piece it, pull it all apart and then piece it all together again. But if you're not being money coached, that's what I would recommend first of all.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Is that what you do? Because I can just see many of us going away and writing this all down and uncovering a pattern, and then now what? What do we do with it? So is that what you do? Is that what you would help us with?
Well, yeah, I work with the training that I've had with a company called the Money Coaching Institute in America, and they teach us to use money archetypes. And the money archetypes really are a wonderful way of helping us to understand, become conscious of, and then start to change our negative behavior and beliefs around money. So we have 8 archetypes. They're quite brutal in their titles. We have the innocent, the victim, the warrior, the martyr, the fool, the creator artist, the tyrant, and the magician.
Oh, it sounds so interesting.
They're really good. I'm actually on my website. I've got a money type quiz, and you can go on there, and they've got a whole load of words that you can you tick or not tick on how you feel about money, and then afterwards it gives you a little report on which are the active archetypes in your life today. The thing about archetypes is to remember that they're not who you are, they're where you are, because it's dynamic, and that's obviously what we're working to change.
So we can change our archetype.
Oh God, absolutely. And different archetypes will come to the fore in different situations. So let me give you an example. Okay, so I am, hands up, I am really good with money, right? So that's great. So I have a very active warrior and a very active magician, which are the 2 archetypes that we would like to have. However, I am relatively new in business. I've never run my own business before, promoting myself, having to sell my services, being really confident about what I do. I've worked for other people and had a salary, and I've been very confident in my job. So when I'm sitting here and I'm having to do the sales and marketing side of my business, let's say, I get nervous and I get scared. And like other people say with money, want to put their head in the sand, that's what I want to do when it comes to sales and marketing. So that's still linked to money, isn't it?
It's true.
I'm not going to earn any money unless I get to grips with sales and marketing.
Absolutely.
Right. So we all have different parts of us that come out at different times. But rather than thinking, oh, I feel like this and I don't know why I feel like this, it's really, it's much easier if you can go, do you know what, my innocent is really active today. I'm feeling that behavior come out. So what I need to do is I need to get my warrior boots on and my magician's cape and my wand out, and I can replace this behavior with this behavior.
That sounds so interesting and like so much fun. But also it sounds like you then become in control no matter what. If you're on a bad day or a good day, if you understand your archetypes, you're in control and you can change things. So that was going to be my next question. Can we change our mindset towards money?
Oh my goodness. So absolutely. Really. And this is that, like, the joy of my work, to actually when I sit down with people and I go through their money bio. There are obviously other exercises that I do with them as well. We look at mum and dad and relevant people during childhood. We look at other skills, talents and abilities that people have, so that we're not always looking at the negative side. We're constantly balancing the positive and the negative, looking at the contrast. And then one of the exercises that we do, which is useful in everyday life, really, we call it the small but significant steps. So let's say, for instance, you have the typical, oh, I'm rubbish with money, right? Which I hear from so many people. And it makes me sad, actually, because it's such a global term, because rubbish with money.
Yeah.
None of us.
Very broad.
It's very broad, and none of us are rubbish with money in totality. I mean, rubbish with money would seem to me that you've got a hole in the bottom of your purse. You're not earning enough money to put in it. You have no idea what's going on, no bank accounts, etc. I don't think there's anybody in this country that's completely rubbish with money. There'll be good parts that they have. But what we do is we do small but significant steps. So we say, okay, so I don't have any confidence about money. The opposite of that state will be I'm really confident and I'm an excellent money manager. But you can't just go from there to there. It's not going to happen. So what we do is we take small but significant steps from one stage to the other. So if somebody's really unconfident about their money, I would suggest to them, first of all, money mapping, because you're starting then to get the awareness. Oh, but I don't even want to look at the spreadsheet and I don't even want to. Okay, let's start with an app. Let's just start with an app. Can't start with a spreadsheet. Well, not really. I'm not really good with it. Okay, let's start with cash. Let's go to your bank account, take out how much cash you think you need to spend for that month, and we'll just start doing it, whichever way works.
Yeah.
But I don't know how money works. Okay, so I'd like you to spend 10 minutes a day on moneysavingexpert.com, which is the Martin Lewis website, which is just wonderful. There's no point reinventing the wheel. I would have loved to have invented it myself. However, it's there. Use it. It's just brilliant. And so you're starting to become aware and conscious of what's going on. And with that, confidence and empowerment will come. So you cease to go from, I just want to put my head in the sand and I just don't know anything about it and I'm really rubbish and I can't do anything, to I am an excellent money manager. It's a gradual thing.
Yes,
definitely. But once that ball starts rolling, it can start rolling really quickly. And that's when I love going along for that ride, I have to say.
I think when people get one thing right, they start to build that belief, actually, I can do it, or maybe I can do it, whereas before they were like, I just can't do this. And I think, like you said, it has a snowball effect, doesn't it? Because then they move to the next baby step and they're like, oh my goodness, I can do this. And then before you do it, they do get to that stage of, I'm fully in control of my finances. So it's very exciting.
Very, very, very similar to diet and fitness.
Yes, I imagine.
Very similar.
It's very much about the state of your mind, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's very about believing and then doing, and then you get more belief when you see you can do. And then, I agree with you. Diet, exercise, finances, most of it's all in the mind.
I mean,
actually run out of time, and I can see that we talk all day. So why don't we get you back for part 2 of this? Because I have so many more questions I want to ask you. I propose that we put the links to the money map and anything else that you have mentioned this morning, the Martin Lewis website, absolutely anything. We'll populate in the comments. Yep. We'll go away and we'll start to read. We'll go onto your website. We'll have a look at everything you recommend. We'll have do what we can, almost homework, and we'll get you back on another Money Monday, and we can actually have other people on with their comments, perhaps, and questions about what they've learned so far, and then we can continue this conversation. So I'm really excited. I think we could do like a 4-part series here because there's so much to talk about. I think that's what we'll do. I'll end now. We completely used up our half an hour, but this is not the end. This is just the beginning.
All right, it's been lovely
for joining us. And as soon as we get off, I'm going to get some more dates in the diary with you, and we're going to continue this journey, because I know that people will absolutely have got so much already that they know that they can take away and apply, but then they'll want to know the next steps. So thanks so much for joining us.
Okay.
And I can't wait to pick up the conversation soon.
Lovely. It's been lovely to be with you, Angela. Take care. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.